victim of this conquest. He see this as thievery, murder, rape, abuse, destruction to their civilization. And this civilization was peaceful, kind, respectful, able to build a society, but unfortunately, this society had been demolished. These things have been built like that. So these ignorant people will try to look at these, colonizers, history, and they say, oh, we bring that. And then now also with their so-called educated, because I know some people that have actually, we met them, some of them in the clubhouse, who call historians, one of them from Upper Nile, or several of them, even one of them we had an interaction with him one-to-one in a room that was not recorded, but I remember very well. But he was in another room that was recorded, and he was insulted in that room by those Jing radicals, or the so-called Jing Council group, Jim Namtak. If you remember, remember Jim Namtak? Jim Namtak was one of the rooms that hosted Alto Ajo and all these people. So they created that room, and then this guy came in, and one of the Dinka guy dropped him, and I remember it made a big kind of noise to all his tribe. So his tribe came up and also tried to, because they're the one who's now playing these propaganda channels in the round. But anyway, this story passed. Just the guy himself, the person I'm trying to define here, he's the one who's been writing histories. Some of our brothers and sisters from Equatoria are taking it seriously as the truth. I just want to warn them. This individual and someone like him and others, they are rewriting history in a false narrative, not actual truth. And their false narrative is actually to build their own tribe as the one who actually, had that kind of understanding. But let's come to reality. Okay, they can write a fictional story, like how many books we have read if you read science fiction, alien invasion, they will destroy New York, they will destroy Washington, D.C., the alien will conquer, people will be slave for 1,000 years or 100 years. Let's be realistic here. Have you ever seen an alien? Never. The same thing I would say to these people. What have you seen on these people who claim that they actually part of the great history or great culture among the South Sudanese? Colosseum. I don't see any, buildings built like the Roman Empire or like the Egyptians in their territory, but yet they will claim a greater history about themselves in that particular notion. And then they will come to us and say, oh yeah, the others are just, their tribe, but we are kingdom, we are nation. Like we are not nation, we are not kingdom. For God's sake, when we organize ourselves, we fought and chased the British. We did not think in a singular tribe. We thought as a collective tribes. That's in itself is an evolution. That's in itself even challenged the French Revolution. If you ever studied the French Revolution, the whole French people came together. When the French rose up to chase the King Leo, or King Louis, the 16, if I'm not mistaken, they did not look at themselves as tribes, or they look at themselves as poor or aristocrats, middle class, or rich people. They came together, say enough is enough. We need these people out because these people are not going to give us future. We're going to establish a new law, a new nation. That's why you talk about the social contract. People like Rousseau, people like, many others. Robespierre was part of these people who came and also was one of the intellectual academics who came up and powerful, but later he caused also demise to many thousands and maybe million. But those people during that time, when they talk about revolution, to remove kingship, to remove, one person, one man authority, our people of Equatoria understood that. That's why they came together and resisted the so-called Ottoman. When the French Revolution were fighting, the Ottoman already conquered most of these countries in the North Africa, Europe, half of Europe, East Europe, Middle East in general, okay? Lebanon, Syria, they call it the Sham, Bilad al-Sham, coming to North Africa, Sudan. Equatoria was the only one resist. And Britain at that time also fighting for the interest of conquest Africa. So they made their deal by missionaries. So these people are telling us they were civilized at that time. What happened? Let's go back to the history. The history was chaotic. They were chased. They were not stable. They cannot even stand up because they were thinking in a singular tribe. But our people did not think of a singular tribe. They thought of unifying themselves for the purpose of knowing who's the real enemy. And we see ourselves, we are one and the same. And we have cultural similarity. We have a land we share. We have a history that we share. And we have a future to build. That's what made them really powerful. And they never went to school. They're just people who speak different language. But imagine when Europeans were studying how to speak other people's language by writing, documenting every country they invade, our people were able to understand each other's language without creating conflict. Do you know any communities that fight each other, or most communities that fight each other, if they're not they don't have the same language, it's because they don't want to communicate. But any community that actually they have two different languages, but they're still willing to talk, those people are considered wise, and they are considered they're people who are builders, not destructors. And they are evolved mentally to understand what is in stake for them. It's future. They see future as everything for them. They don't waste their time. That's why earlier I mentioned about time. Time does not wait for no man. But these people don't understand that. From 2005, remember, to our time today, how many years is this? And look what these people did when they took power. They claimed they are majority power tribes. And they dismissed us as Equatorian. Completely dismissed. Let's be honest. I am an Equatorian. And I will say it without any sugarcoating or fear of anyone. We were dismissed. We were put under the rug. Why? Because they see us that we're insignificant. Yet our sacrifices, our work, our everything that we did was dismissed because they see us, because those leaders, of course, the so-called leaders, messed up so badly. They didn't stood up to speak out. And then these people came in because they have this all mentality that now, Equatoria, because Equatoria is the place we need to go and assert ourselves. That's why you see them. There's so much, we'll always look at Equatoria as a problem. That's why you could hear them, but we never let Equatoria separate. We never let Equatoria be independent. And yet they forgot that Equatoria was not part of them. Equatoria was joined to Sudan. And there is a history to support our claim, not my claim, our claim as Equatorian nationalists. And that's why we'll stand for it. Why we came out now? Because we have seen and tested that this unity, this unholy unity called South Sudan unity, does not work. Because we missed up something. We missed something here. Like I said, we missed the cultural differences. We missed the historical background of these people. There is a background that says that these people are not even, during that time when they talk about their migration in 1600, our people already understood themselves before even 1600. When they saw the European, they resisted, but these people did not resist. They ran away, they fled, and they came into these places called Upper Nile today. And if they want to know even deeper what we know, I say let it be on the time when Equatoria become a nation. Because we don't want to you couldn't panic attack. Let that come to the right time, because Equatoria have a history you cannot even imagine. We do research before we come out to speak. And this history of Equatoria, Lofi Equatorian brothers and sisters, you understand the power and the significance of Equatoria as a territory, as a people, as a history, as a culture. Trust me, I will never hear foolish language come from some Equatorian. I'm a Junubi, I'm a South Sudanese, because this term and this language, it will be thrown into the trash. Ejama, Equatoria has a greater history you cannot even imagine. The European feared Equatoria to the extent Gataona Gita. That's why you see some of our territories been taken to Congo, Uganda, Central Africa, Kenya. For what reason? It wasn't just because they wanted to make it for the interest of European. They feared the unity of Equatoria, as now we see the fear of the Upper Nile and Baragazal for Equatoria. And I'll say it clearly, in particular Dinkas and some supporters of Dinkas who want it, and they're from Upper Nile. Yet They will not attack Dinka. They will say, "Oh, Dinka are innocent," and because now when we say this, say in a hate speech, no, there is nothing hate here. I'm just being factual. Dinka culture is a messed up culture. Let me be honest. It's a complete mess. And I would dare anyone to tell me, come from any Dinka or anyone in Upper Nile to tell me Dinka culture is not a messed up culture. It's a culture of thievery, culture of mess, culture of rape, culture of, backwardness to the extent they don't even honor themselves. Forget about the foreigner. We the foreigners to them, they call us Dor, Jur, whatever they call us. We know who we are to them. But imagine among themselves, they cannot even honor themselves because their culture is so messed up. Yet you will see some people have the audacity to come out and say, "But judge them. Don't generalize them." Listen, I'm not generalizing. If you see a snake, okay, and I say this term clearly, and I've said it before, snakes, you can take the venom, but the venom will come back. You can see a snake that raised with a person, and there's a snake in the wild. But it's still a snake because one day the snake will come in his mind, he will bite the man who raised it. So what that tells you is part of the DNA. It's part of the culture. It's part of what it carries. It's not what it does. Okay? It carries this thing deep within his soul, within his mind, within his habit, behavior, cultural background. That's why we tell you people, don't come and try to play us like we're fools. We don't come up here to speak for the sake of speaking. We come